A delivery man was walking on a crosswalk when a speeding truck hit him hard. Barely alive, he called for help. The driver got out, but only felt unlucky. Seeing no cameras around, he went back to his truck. He thought it was better to kill the victim than to spend his whole life compensating him. However, the driver got out of jail after just 1 year. He felt no guilt and even cursed the victim's mother for disturbing his life. A mysterious man watched everything from afar. That night, while the driver was relaxing in the bath, a hand suddenly pushed his head into the water. No matter how much he begged, the man in black didn't stop. Finally, the driver paid for his crime. Police arrived soon, but all cameras had been destroyed. They found no clues. Surprisingly, the man in black was a police academy student named Ji-young. By day, he studied at school. By night, he became Dark Hero, punishing unrepentant criminals with violence. As a child, Ji-young witnessed his mother murdered. The criminal did it just because he was in a bad mood. The judge ruled he had no intent to kill and gave him only 3 years in prison. The boy lowered his head in fear, but from that moment, he swore revenge. 12 years later, Ji-young mastered fighting techniques in the police academy. His first target was his mother's killer. The man was beating up a bus driver just because the driver once reported him. He didn't stop until the driver lost consciousness. Then, he walked away contently. Ji-young followed him into a dark alley and beat him mercilessly. The man had 18 previous convictions, but still roamed freely. Ji-young's family was ruined because of him. Now, he finally avenged his mother. Back home, Ji-young looked at a photo of his mother and finally felt relieved. Before sleeping, he saw a news report. A guy broke into a house and urinated. When the resident tried to stop him but was badly beaten. Since the criminal didn't run or destroy evidence, the court rejected the warrant for his arrest. Later, the criminal returned to harass the victim again. He even threatened to kill their son. Ji-young suddenly appeared, blocking the window with a wooden board. He beat them up and threw them into a trash pile. Dark Hero's deeds quickly became known to the public. Ji-young's friend, Min, fully supported Dark Hero and hoped he would keep fighting for justice. The victim thanked Dark Hero through the media, making Ji-young more determined to fight for the weak. At night, he searched online for new cases and found a doctor who secretly filmed and sexually assaulted patients. The doctor only got 6 months in prison and even kept his medical license. Ji-young put on his black hoodie and went to the clinic. The doctor had just injected anesthesia and turned on a hidden camera. As he was about to continue, Ji-young smashed the glass, rushed in, and injected him with a sedative. He then stomped on the criminal's hand, making sure he could never be a doctor again. A series of cases caught the police's attention and sparked journalist Choi's interest. She noticed all the victims were criminals who had committed serious crimes but got light sentences. Their crimes had been in the news, causing public outrage. Choi made a show about Dark Hero, which quickly went viral. But she didn't know Ji-young wasn't blindly seeking revenge. If the criminal showed true remorse, he would give them a chance to change. To lure out Dark Hero and get the scoop, Choi revealed the face of Jung, another criminal. He committed a terrible crime against a student at an amusement park, but was only sentenced to 7 years by faking a mental illness. After seeing the show, Ji-young got furious. He secretly logged into the school's database to check Jung's records. The public was furious too. They gathered outside Jung's apartment, throwing rocks at his home. Jung couldn't take it anymore, and secretly drove away at night. He used a fake passport to fake an escape and threw his ankle monitor into the sea. The police split into 2 groups. One went to the port to investigate, and the other went to protect the victim. After a whole day at the port, they found nothing. They guessed the criminal might escape by boat that night. There were too many ships and not enough officers. The police at the victim's door were called back, leaving only 1 officer to guard her. As another officer stepped out, he met a suspicious delivery man wearing a helmet. He ordered him to lift his mask. After confirming he wasn't Jung, the officer left. Unexpectedly, Jung attacked the man near the elevator. Then, he arrived at the victim's home disguised as the delivery man. When the officer at the door let his guard down, Jung stabbed him with a knife. Hearing the noise, The girl opened the door but was grabbed by Jung. The officer, badly injured, fought to stop him and told the girl to run, but she was caught by the devil in the end. Jung yelled that she had ruined his life. The girl broke down. She was the real victim. He even said that if he had just killed her back then, he would have lived comfortably in prison instead of being hated by everyone. As he was about to act, Ji-young kicked him away. He beat Jung mercilessly, unleashing his anger until Jung begged for mercy. When he was barely alive, Ji-young warned him to write an apology letter if he wanted to live. Meanwhile, Choi realized the criminal's real goal was revenge, not escape. She rushed to the scene, but was too late. Ji-young had already left. But this time, Choi scored a way hotter scoop. The next day, news of Jung's death spread widely. Police found clues at the scene and confirmed it was a murder case. They saw Dark Hero as the main suspect. Meanwhile, Choi showed crime scene photos on her show, causing a huge stir. To solve the case quickly, they asked a police academy professor for help. The professor believed Dark Hero knew exactly how the police were investigating. A female student passing by criticized the police, saying they should reward Dark Hero, not treat him like a killer. Meanwhile, the TV station received criticism. Citizens said Dark Hero was a criminal, but reporter made it looking interesting. Choi didn't care. She thought ratings and views were all that mattered. That night, she revealed 3 criminals' details, waiting to see which one Dark Hero would punish. Seo and runaway teens broke into his ex-employer's home, killed his wife and 2 children. Later, he blamed everything on 2 minors and escaped punishment. He even bragged to his friends, saying that the law couldn't touch him. Ji-young, angered by Seo's cold-blooded behavior, and went to the nightclub where he was. The girl was drawn to his handsome looks and started flirting with him, but Ji-young's attention was all on Seo. She thought he wanted to buy drugs from Seo and dragged him into the hallway. She put drugs in her mouth, then kissed him. Ji-young's mind blurred, and he didn't wake up until the next morning. Watching the sweet video of the victim's family, he remembered the criminal's lack of remorse. He felt both sad and angry. After investigating, he found he not only sold drugs, but targeted minors and hid his money in the countryside. To lure the criminal, Ji-young left a phone number in his car and urged him to surrender. Seo told his men to check the number and found out it belonged to the anti-drug team. He thought his drug dealing was exposed and panicked, rushing to the countryside. However, his safe was broken, and all the money was gone. Ji-young appeared outside, ready to burn the dirty money. Seo tried to stop him, but got knocked down. Ji-young ordered him to apologize to the victims and threw down a lighter. Furious, Seo grabbed a shovel and rushed at him. Ji-young showed no mercy. He wrapped a chain around Seo's neck and tied him to a metal frame. Seo begged for mercy and promised to apologize. The next day, police found the criminal's body. Dark Hero became a hot topic again, but politicians publicly opposed him, saying punishing criminals was the police's job. To catch Dark Hero quickly, the regional unit took over the case. Captain Jo Hyun was not only fearless, but also incredibly strong. He could lift a car with his bare hands. Even gangsters feared him. The captain found Seo's man to get some clues. The guy realized he was a cop and instinctively tried to escape. After failing, he still spoke rudely. The captain punched him down and asked if he saw anyone suspicious around Seo recently. The guy pulled out a knife but got disarmed and pinned against the fence. Feeling real danger, he revealed that Seo once asked him to check an anti-drug team's number and suspected the killer was a young man. The captain got nothing useful. Meanwhile, many imitators appeared, calling themselves Dark Heroes. Another show copied Choi's idea and also released info on 3 cases where the criminals only got light sentences. Right after the news aired, an imitator quickly followed the Dark Heroes method to deal with the criminals. He even filmed a video and sent it to the media. The imitator said he knew Dark Heroes' actions were also crimes, but he wouldn't stop. Only when the victims' rights were truly protected by law will Dark Heroes disappear. Ji-young never expected his actions to cause chaos in society. Choi believed that wasn't the real Dark Hero. Jo Hyun also noticed that while their methods were similar, The real dark hero never hurt women or minors. Jiang planned to lay low for a while, but something sparked his sense of justice again. An old woman collecting scrap blocked rich man Jiang's way because she moved slowly. He grew impatient and ran her over with his car, killing her. Even then, he wasn't satisfied. A shop owner nearby saw what happened and beat him up. The police arrived and took Jiang to the hospital, but they arrested the shop owner for assault. Jiang was furious when he saw the news. He had known the old woman for a long time. Her husband was sick, so she collected scraps to survive. Jiang often helped her organize the boxes, and she always gave him candy as thanks. Thinking about this, he swore to get justice for her. That night, Jiang's brother came to the old woman's house offering money to settle things, but no one answered. Jiang followed him and beat him up. Then, he tricked the police into leaving and snuck into Jiang's hospital room. Jiang stuffed a milk bottle in Jiang's mouth and threatened him to ask the judge for the maximum sentence, or he would make him suffer even more. After that, Jiang disguised himself as a doctor and left. Jo Hyun sensed something was wrong and was about to chase after it when he heard a cry for help from the hospital room. Inside, Jiang was tied to the bed, too scared to move. Jo Hyun immediately realized the doctor was Dark Hero. At the same time, all the security cameras stopped working. Jiang also sensed danger. He quickly changed clothes and disappeared into the night. Jiang tried to call his brother but found his phone inside the milk box Jiang had brought. Suddenly, a man in black appeared and threw Jiang from the window. Jiang watched in shock and saw the imitator escape down a rope and get into an ambulance. He immediately ran after him and jumped into the vehicle. The imitator greeted him excitedly. They arrived at a quiet rooftop. The imitator was thrilled. He was Dark Hero's biggest fan and wanted to fight for justice with him. Jiang looked around cautiously. The imitator said he had disabled all the cameras and had been helping Jiang destroy evidence. Without hesitation, Jiang attacked him. Everything he had done for justice was ruined by this imitator. They fought fiercely until the imitator almost fell off the building. Jiang didn't care who he was. He just wanted him to stay away. But the man in black was no ordinary person. He was the vice chairman of a major company. He learned that Choi was there last night and recorded everything near the hospital. He immediately approached Choi and offered to sponsor her show to destroy the video. Choi refused. She didn't want money to control her reports and only wanted to write articles without any external influences. Seeing this, the vice chairman decided to talk to her alone. He admitted he liked Dark Hero and admired his actions. He knew how Choi felt because she also wanted to expose the dark side of society. So they had the same goal, to protect Dark Hero. Meanwhile, Jo Hyun analyzed the crime scene and realized Dark Hero knew exactly how the police investigated, erasing all clues perfectly. He took his findings to the professor for advice and unexpectedly ran into Jiang again. Noticing Jiang's build was similar to the doctor from last night, Jo Hyun grew suspicious. Later, he went to the professor's office and learned that students sometimes help develop case analysis programs. He suspected Dark Hero was a cop and asked to see student photos. The professor refused, saying he couldn't share personal information. But Jo Hyun's speculation made Jo Hyun uneasy. The next day in class, the professor saw Jiang's bruised face and asked what happened. Jiang lied, saying he had a boxing match last night. The professor knew he wasn't telling the truth. Just then, the police came looking for Jiang. A girl had been harassed by drunk guys last night, and Jiang stepped in to help. She came to thank him while the police wanted to get a statement from him. The professor then cleared up his doubts. But everything was secretly planned by the vice chairman. He guessed Jiang would struggle to explain his injuries, so he arranged for a girl to prove his innocence. This crisis made Jiang uneasy. He realized he needed someone to clean up the mess. So, he texted the vice chairman to meet. The next day, Jo Hyun found Jiang and told him to stop using violence. He already knew Jiang was Dark Hero. It turned out that Jo Hyun believed if Dark Hero had a decent job and good looking, the public would go wild, beyond their control. So they decided to find the least impressive guy and frame all crimes on him. That way, people would see Dark Hero as just a loser. This was the best way to put Dark Hero to rest. The vice chairman was secretly watching. Curious about their conversation, he called Jeong. Jeong suspected the vice chairman had told Jo Haeon his secret, so he canceled their meeting. But he would consider their cooperation if the vice chairman could clone Jo Haeon's phone. Soon, the vice chairman texted to say he had done what Jeong asked. Jeong went to a locker, took the phone, and started checking Jo Haeon's call records. At that moment, Choi's show aired a news report. An actor, once arrested for running an illegal website, had died. It was linked to a businessman named Kim. Choi learned from her senior that Kim ran a legal business on the surface but was secretly involved in illegal gambling. He often attended charity events but was ruthless. If anyone crossed him, he threw them into a pig pen to be eaten. Following an anonymous tip, Choi found a warehouse full of illegal gambling servers. She quickly took pictures to gather evidence. Just then, the door opened and a hitman entered. To protect the evidence, the senior distracted the hitman so Choi could escape. However, he was killed instantly. When the police arrived, the warehouse was empty. No evidence remained. So Choi released her video to the public. This caught Dark Hero's attention, but also made Kim want to kill her. The TV station boss, afraid of offending the chaebol, blamed Choi for acting on her own, saying it led to a reporter's death. Choi argued that revealing the truth was a reporter's duty, and she wouldn't fear any pressure or threats. As she was leaving work, a thug attacked her, but Jo Haeon arrived just in time. He warned her not to give Dark Hero any more prey, or she would face even greater danger. Jo Haeon took the thug away and learned Kim's location from him. Armed with a shield and a trophy, he fought off all of Kim's men. The police arrived, sealed the area, and claimed Kim's men were Dark Heroes. This abandoned factory was a killing ground for training them. Jo Haeon's goal was to destroy Dark Hero's heroic image. To defend Dark Hero's name, Jeong decided to take action. He targeted one of Kim's men, a repeat offender. Deep inside a bookstore, a girl was unconscious. Jeong grabbed the criminal by the hair and beat him up. Then he forced him to open a safe and took records of Kim's illegal deals. By the time the police arrived, they found another apology letter. The news spread, and people realized that it was real Dark Hero who punished criminals. Jo Haeon found Jeong ignoring his advice and approached him again. He wanted to give Jeong one last chance, hoping that he would stop using violence. After observing, Jeong noticed that the captain only warned him verbally but never arrested him. He guessed that the captain took care of cases unofficially on someone's orders. Jeong couldn't stand seeing criminals ruin innocent lives. He hated that the law was endlessly generous to criminals but neglected victims. If the weak couldn't rely on the law, they had the right to protect themselves. Jo Haeon didn't care about Jeong's reasons. He was more worried that Jeong would become a monster eventually. He recognized Jeong's skills and intelligence. With the right guidance, he could go places. Otherwise, Jo Haeon would have to stop him. Jeong didn't want to waste words. He just wanted to fight this stubborn cop. But he was no match for the captain and quickly lost. Jo Haeon said he also hated corrupt police, but he was proud to be a cop. He felt sorry for Jeong. He should have been a great officer. Jeong struggled to stand up and revealed what Kim and the police chief were up to. He promised to follow Jo Haeon if the law could punish the villains. Otherwise, he would take down the evil through illegal activities. Not far away, the vice chairman observed everything. He saved Jeong and vowed to punish those who hurt him. Before leaving, he even took a photo with his idol. Meanwhile, due to no progress in the Dark Hero case, the chief suspended Jo Haeon. Once his handover was complete, he would be removed as team leader. Not giving up, Jo Haeon secretly turned the thug into an informant and started investigating Kim and his allies. Choi was fired because her report harmed the chaebol's interests. Jeong wanted to use Choi to expose society's secrets, so he contacted the vice chairman to help her continue her show. Soon, the vice chairman set up a news company for Choi and let her work freely. Choi created a new show and continued reporting the truth. She told the public that if anything happened to her during interviews, it would be murder. She stood firm for justice and asked everyone to keep supporting Dark Hero. After leaving the hospital, Ji-young continued studying Kim's company accounts and discovered secret deals with the chief. They laundered money through a church. That night, Ji-young knocked out one of the pastor's men and took their USB drive containing transaction details. Just then, he noticed the imitator nearby and quickly ran after him. But the imitator seemed to enjoy the thrill of being chased. Eventually, he was forced to stop at a railing. He wanted Ji-young to accept him and work together to achieve many more things. Ji-young admitted he needed help, but asked him to remove his mask to show his sincerity. Hearing this, the imitator took off his mask immediately. In order to defeat the evil forces, Ji-young decided to cooperate with the vice chairman. Ji-young planned to deal with the pastor first. Then, the vice chairman would give the USB to Choi to expose the crimes. The media would be forced to cover it. If the case was buried, Ji-young would attack Kim and reveal the evidence. The vice chairman thought the plan was reckless and could get Ji-young killed. But Ji-young was willing to try, even if it meant risking everything. The next day, Ji-young stormed into the pastor's office, defeated his men, and beat him up. Soon news spread that the priest was dead in the church. The chief panicked, fearing Dark Hero's next target was him. Kim promised to eliminate Jo Hyun, Choi, and Dark Hero within 5 days. Meanwhile, the vice chairman gave the USB to Choi. She was about to expose Kim's crimes in a live broadcast when Jo Hyun stopped her. He criticized her for encouraging Dark Hero's crimes for cheap ratings and manipulating the public to support him. It was very dangerous, but Choi didn't care about it. When persuasion failed, Jo Hyun planned to leave, but suddenly a hitman appeared in the back seat. They fought fiercely in the car, and the hitman was kicked out of the car. Then, a strong guy appeared and attacked him. Even though Jo Hyun was skilled, he couldn't fight both men with their weapons. At the last moment, Ji-young arrived and drove them away. He took Jo Hyun to the hospital. A witness recorded the fight, and the news quickly spread. The vice chairman didn't understand why Ji-young saved Jo Hyun, believing he would only get in their way. But Ji-young planned to turn Jo Hyun into another Dark Hero. The next day, Kim ordered his men to transfer the server data. Ji-young burned down their base. He knocked out 2 guys and took the locked box. Choi immediately reported the fire on her show. She explained that it was not an accident, but Dark Hero's strike against evil. The police launched a full-scale raid on Kim's company. Kim begged the chief for help, or he would expose corrupt politicians. The chief ignored his threat and suggested he stay in jail for 6 months. If Kim took care of Dark Hero before that, the chief would try to shorten his sentence. Kim realized he had been abandoned by the politicians. Now, he had to catch Choi himself and force her to reveal Dark Hero's location. Meanwhile, Ji-young left the money he sold QQ coins at an orphanage to help those in need. But this good deed led to disaster. The next day, he saw on the news that the orphanage director was murdered. He realized Kim set a trap to lure him out. After thinking it over, Ji-young contacted the vice chairman and decided to act before more innocent people died. At the same time, Choi saw Kim's men arrive through the security cameras. She quickly set up cameras in her office and started a live stream. Kim's men soon captured her, but the vice chairman arrived just in time and took them down. The police arrived shortly after. The new captain took Choi to the station for questioning. Seeing Choi unharmed, Ji-young felt relieved. During interrogation, Choi insisted the man who saved her wasn't Dark Hero. The real Dark Hero never used weapons. The next day, the captain questioned Ji-young, asking where he was when Choi was in danger. It turned out that the captain had already checked the case details and learned that the former captain had asked the professor for student photos. Coincidentally, he met Ji-young in the professor's office and noticed his physique was similar to Dark Hero's. Also, selling the cryptocurrency required a phone with the wallet. That phone used during the crime was once turned on at school. So the captain started to suspect Ji-young and wanted him to be honest. However, Ji-young refused to answer any questions, calling it his private life. The captain gave up and left. Soon after, he returned with people to search the school. Just then, the phone used during the crime pinpointed a location, the principal's office. It was also the police chief's office since he was the principal too. But this was all part of Ji-young's plan. He used the crime phone in the office on purpose and hid the private phone linking Kim and the chief in the bookshelf. This way, the police would suspect the chief. To stop the captain from exposing the truth, the chief staged a car accident, killing him. Jo Hae-on was devastated because the captain was his best friend. Ji-young was also filled with guilt. He never expected his plan would cost a righteous officer's life. Jo Hae-on punched Ji-young in anger and scolded him for putting everyone in danger with his actions. Ji-young insisted that even if he died, he would continue fighting evil. Jo Hae-on's belief seemed to waver at his determination. After hearing Choi had been missing for days, the vice chairman broke into her home and found it a mess. Choi had already been kidnapped by the hitman. Even after being tortured, she didn't reveal any truth. Ji-young didn't want innocent Choi to be in danger, so he and the vice chairman immediately took actions. The vice chairman went to Kim's other office, where he also hid a lot of money to lure away most of the hitmen. Ji-young caught a guy talking to Kim on the phone and made him repeat a message from the screen. Kim immediately contacted the top hitman to go to the meeting place. Knowing the enemy was gathering his men, Ji-young and the vice chairman met on a hidden rooftop to plan for tomorrow. After that, the vice chairman drove away. As Ji-young walked, his friend Min suddenly called him. Min had noticed Ji-young acting mysterious lately and skipping school without reason, so he found his behavior suspicious. Seeing Ji-young stay silent, he didn't push further, but reminded him not to skip school tomorrow. Kim arrived at the meeting place with thousands of men. They stormed into the control room, kicked out the staff, and watched the cameras for any suspicious guy. When a man in black appeared, Kim ordered his capture. But then more and more men in black showed up on the screen. Kim realized there was a music festival nearby, themed around Dark Hero. It was all part of Ji-young's plan to distract him. He and the vice chairman blended into the crowd. Then Ji-young revealed his location on purpose, letting the hitman notice him to create a chance to save Choi. At the same time, the vice chairman also exposed himself to draw the gang's attention. Once Choi was safe, Ji-young gave her a phone to start a live stream. It was the only way to catch those criminals. The captain saw the stream and rushed to the stadium with reformed thugs. The chief also headed to the scene. In the parking lot, chaos erupted. Ji-young and the vice chairman were exhausted from fighting so many enemies. Just then, Jo Hae-on drove in and hit the strongman. He tried to make all the hitmen surrender as a cop, but Kim, blinded by hatred, only wanted to kill Ji-young. A man in black stopped Kim but got stabbed in his belly. Ji-young kicked Kim away and saw the man was his best friend. Min had long suspected Ji-young. One day, he saw Ji-young and the vice chairman near the stadium, confirming his suspicion. But he didn't expose Ji-young because Ji-young was doing what he never dared to do. In the end, Min sacrificed himself for justice. When the police arrived, Kim escaped in the chaos. Ji-young chased after him to avenge his friend. The vice chairman blocked the remaining guys outside, giving Ji-young a chance for revenge. But one hitman had already been bought off by the deputy chief to kill Kim. Jo Hae-on arrived and ordered everyone to surrender. Kim didn't trust anyone and fought with all his strength, but he was no match for Ji-young. Jo Hae-on also subdued the hitman. Suddenly, the chief appeared and locked the basement door. He shot Kim first, then emptied his gun. After that, he turned on the water valve, flooding the room. If everyone died, his secrets would never be exposed. Following Jo Hae-on's hint, Ji-young climbed onto his shoulders and punched the chief hard. Jo Hae-on stopped him from going further. Everything was now exposed to the public, and Jo Hae-on believed the law would judge the criminals. Just then, the hitman climbed up, still determined to kill Ji-young. The chief grabbed a gun and started shooting. Jo Hae-on, completely enraged, no longer cared about his police duty, and knocked the chief unconscious. Ji-young used his last strength to stab the hitman. At that moment, Jo Hae-on finally understood why Ji-young chose to illegally punish the criminals. Later, during questioning, Choi lied and said the real dark hero was Min, who had already died. This way, Ji-young could escape legal punishment and continue fighting for justice. When the vice chairman woke up, he immediately asked about Ji-young. His men told him Ji-young was safe, and all security footage had been erased. They thought it was over, but the Blue House covered up the late chief's crimes. They even honored him as a hero and appointed him posthumously as honorary commissioner general. The evil forces still weren't punished. At the police academy graduation, all the students raised their right hands and swore loyalty to the country, except Ji-young. He was completely disappointed with his country.